2020 is and will remain one of the most unique years in the education calendar, where literally a whole academic year was thrown under the carpet. Private schools were among institutions hardest hit by the pandemic, with close to 350 of them shutting down. With the schools reopening in 2 weeks, Makori Ongeche reports on the impact of the pandemic on learning and what the 2021 school calendar holds for learners right from basic education all the way to higher learning.
The closure of schools in March this year to control the spread of COVID-19 was unexpected for learners, parents and the country at large. By mid-April, a total of 1.725 billion students globally had been affected by the closure of schools and higher learning institutions in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the UNESCO monitoring report, 192 countries had implemented nationwide closures, affecting about 99% of the world's student population. In the country, 18 million learners were affected as they began a year-long impromptu holiday away from their classrooms.
2020 will definitely be remembered for its disruption because many things we were used to had to change. We had to do things in a different way. And for me, I think as an institute and also in the education sector, it affirmed some of the things we have done right. It also showed some of the gaps that we need to address.
While the government sought to engage learners through community-based learning, nothing much could be gained. Over the period, Kenya Private Schools Association Chairperson Peter Ndoro says 339 private schools with a student population of over 100,000 have already closed shop with no hope of reopening.
How are we going to reopen in 2021? What are the implications of lack of support for the private schools? It means that very many private schools may collapse.
Teachers who are either teaching in these private schools or were employed under the respective boards of management lost their livelihood and may as well have the worst of their Christmas ever.
How long do you wash your hands?
Yet, in reviving the academic calendar, the government began a phased reopening of learning institutions, allowing learners in grade 4, class 8 and form 4 to report back to school. But the whole process required thorough preparedness. Unlike before, the COVID-19 pandemic had made back-to-school season stressful for parents, teachers and students. Schools were required to undertake a series of measures to readmit learners in the COVID era and help prevent the spread of infection in schools.
A question in KCP.
At Lakewood School Kitengela, a Class 8 CRE lesson is underway.
Emperor Augustus is one of them.
Unlike March, when these learners left school, now they are required to wear face masks, sit a few meters from their colleagues, and avoid unnecessary interaction as much as possible. They must avoid crowded places or even close contact in school buildings. This besides washing their hands regularly. It is the new norm in all schools, even as they wait for learners to return in January. The teacher, unlike before, must be keen to identify changes among learners in terms of behavior that will suggest a learner is not feeling well.
We take the temperatures 3 times in a day. We do it at 8 a.m., 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. as a way of helping our learners to be safe and also to be able to monitor in case of anything in temperature changes. We keep a clear record and we communicate to the parents so that we are able to monitor and keep our children safe.
At all times, at least 2 teachers must be in class to observe and take note of the behavior from each learner. The pandemic also affected higher learning. Universities conducted first-year admissions, graduations and offered degree courses online. The government has admitted that achieving social distancing, particularly in public schools, will pose a big challenge owing to the high numbers of students' populations. In the revised curriculum, all schools, including schools offering international curriculum, will open fully on 4th January 2021. All 4-year-olds will join PP1 in July 2021 instead of January. Grade 4 CBC learners will transit to Grade 5 in July 2021, while Grade 4 and incoming Form 1 will stay at home as other learners complete their Term 3 and resume in July 2021.
So at a point, the children who are in Grade 4 will be at home, while the others who are not in school this year are continuing, such that by June, July, when the new academic year begins, it will begin for all learners at the same time.
We can confidently say that we can have the rest of the learners back, but this requires some level of preparedness, which I think as government we've been very keen on.
Class 8 candidates will sit their national examinations from Monday, the 22nd of March to Wednesday, the 24th of March 2021. KCSE examinations will begin on 26th of March all the way to 21st of April. It's a new norm that has penetrated almost every aspect of our social life. And as the learners report back to class on January 4th next year, this will be their daily routine as they seek to settle the syllabus that was left hanging in 2020. Makorio Ngechi, Citizen TV.